The Bards, at junior football, they tell you, don't play the man, play the ball. Collingwood could have heeded that advice.
They could have, mate. They came out, they wanted to go the man, and they did that, and they probably should have gone the ball because they got their asses kicked.
Sometimes you kick, sometimes you get kicked, sometimes you kick, sometimes you get kicked, yeah!
So, how big was that ass whooping?
It was a lovely, lovely night at the MCG. We thought we were going to have hail, windstorms, whatever. It was beautiful inside, and what we saw on the ground was great.
And the scores, Bart?
Scores, mate, we had Hawthorn 20-15, 135, defeating Collingwood 15-7, 97.
You must have been spewing it wasn't a 6-goal margin.
I was pretty close again, wasn't I? Was it 6 goals and 2 points, Grant?
No, you're very precise, Bards, but you're closer than I was. I only said 25 points.
That's right.
So who kicked all the goals?
We had Franklin with 4, Hale with 2, Rioli 2, Savage 2, Hodge 2, Gunstall 2, and Bruce with 2, and singles to Puopolo, Ellis, Roughhead, and Smith.
Took a fair while to get that first goal.
It did, mate, and it was a very intense opening to the game, and which is makes it hard for us to get in our game style when the pressure's on, but we withheld the pressure. We didn't get it on the scoreboard, but when it happened, Hodgie was the man that burst through like a bull and put one through the sticks, and we're away.
So, Bards low votes. They continue.
They do continue, mate. I've got someone, I think it's the first time he's been granted the 5 votes from me this year, and that's one Luke Bruce I've given 5 to this week. I thought this game was beautiful all round. Not just about kicking goals for this fella anymore. He goes in the middle and has an effect. Genuine burst speed. He doesn't mind the fend off. He gets down back and helps out when he's on the ball as well, and I thought as an all-round game from a half-forward flanker, for a bloke who last year in the corresponding final had a shocker and got dropped, I thought he stepped up to the plate and had a ripper. So 5 votes to Luke Bruce, 4 to Sam Mitchell, just weighted numbers again, mate. He was great. 3 to Brad Sewell, who I'll talk about shortly. 2 to Franklin for getting the job done at the other end. And 1 to Gibson for spoils, and more spoils. And I've had to put in a few extra mentions this week, mate. I've got mentions for Ellis, Savage, and Hale.
Yeah, let's talk about a few of those. Interestingly enough, the difference between last year and this year was the fact that Smith, Bruce, and Savage all stood up.
They did indeed, mate. And look, Savage and Ellis especially, for 2 blokes who were out of the side 2 weeks ago, looked like they were destined to be the 23rd and 24th players. Crisis creates opportunity, as they say. Hale going down a Youngie with a knock, and then Jordan Lewis pulling out before the game, allowing Savage into the side. Sav just took the ball by the horns as soon as he got on the ground. Whitecross going down injured. He comes on as a sub, has an immediate effect, kicking a couple of goals in the first half. Ran out the game pretty well, but his first half was exceptional. And Ellis, mate, he's pretty much got the nod to take that spot. I think he pretty much got that first spot that opened up with Guerra being out, and he did everything you could probably ask him. I think he had about 17 touches, but he's very good with the ball. He's spoiled in the middle of the ground there. Run on, pick up, go forward for a goal. He got a knock to the knee, which probably 6 months ago would have been Ellis to the bench, sub him off. No, couldn't sub him. He went down, got it taped up, back on the ground, kicked an important goal. Even on Dirty Maxwell was sliding in afterwards and taking his legs out. Had a great game, and I think he's cemented his spot in the side.
Now, talking of Maxwell, there's a segment called Grant Goes Off, and this is the discussion I had with Wetters.
Mate, Maxwell's the great arm waver of all time, isn't he?
Oh, don't get me started on the war hero.
The war hero.
The war hero. The bloke who said after the St Kilda draw, 44 blokes went out here and it was war.
Oh, Nick, it's a very eerie, stunned feeling, everyone around the ground. What's your immediate thoughts, mate?
Oh, mate, I don't know if we've ever seen 44 guys go to war like we just did then.
When was the last time that bloke was seen in a f***ing trench? That bloke is a
You should be recorded.
off so much that he's a talentless footballer who has been able to lift up a trophy. It's just a disgrace to AFL football, that bloke. Worst thing, Shameway Woden won a Brownlow medal.
Yeah, but that wasn't his fault, to be fair.
So don't get me started about Nick Maxwell,
Mate,
because he's all that's coming and should get more.
He read 30 metres to iron out a garden name. He's a real hero.
Well, the thing was, he wanted a bit of action because Harry O'Brien played on Piopolo all night and still didn't get a kick.
Oh, mate.
There you go, Bards. You can see I don't like Nick Maxwell whatsoever, and I think most people from Hawthorn don't like Nick Maxwell. I mean, you know, bloke who picks on the garden gnome.
How could you do that? Oh, what did Buck say? It was just because he was short. That's the only reason it made an effect. I think he knew he was short before he hit him in the gob.
And the other bloke who played a bit on Paul Piopolo was Harry O'Brien, the back patter.
Harry O'Brien, they love picking up the power forwards, these two.
If you're in M28, you would have heard me screaming out, "That's right, Harry, pat someone on the back, go on," because he doesn't get the ball himself. His job's there just to pat everyone else on the back for doing a good job.
That's good. He has to pat him on the back because they've all covered his opponent while he's dagged out the back waiting for the easy ball to clear it out.
Yeah, no, very ordinary backline, this one.
It is. But to be honest, mate, you know, all this talk about Travis Cloke leaving and going and join Mighty Mick at Carlton, they're in a lot of trouble if they lose Cloke because they didn't have much else up forward.
It's like a bar chart watching these two teams, isn't it? One's on the up and one's on the down, and they've crossed over at the last preliminary final, and we're not the one going down.
It's amazing the difference a year makes or whatever, you know. Even take an example, Alice and Daisy Thomas. For the first couple of years, we probably thought we'd done pretty well there. Alice was playing well, one of our best players in the grand final win. Then he gets injured and goes out of favour. Dale Thomas cuts his hair and starts playing some decent footy. Everyone thinks he's easily the better player. Then we get to a final this year round, and did Dale Thomas play? Alice seemed to be doing everything he had to do, and Thomas every now and then would bob up and get a kick, and that was about it. So, you know, current form, I'd go with Alice again.
Well, here's some views that we had the other night when I was talking to Wetters about a couple of blokes that just get cheap possessions. You know, the two Great Danes. Yeah, well, the two Great Danes, you know, they do nothing anymore, right? They run up and down the spot and gather possessions which don't count.
Mate, somebody told me Beams had over 30 possessions.
They didn't count, did they?
Oh, well, mate, Dane Swan, and I rate Dane Swan at some of his clearance work, but he is the master at the cheap, useless, pointless possessions. He will get 45 touches, mate, and 35 of them you either won't remember, or he'll have rammed them straight down an opposition player's neck, or he'll have just butchered it somehow, or given the little 2-yard handball to pad the stats. He is the king of the cheap possession, that guy.
Yeah, they love racking them up. I think we had good games on them. We kept them both to about 30, which from the outside that looks all right for them. But these are guys that get 35 to 40 every week, and I think we know why.
Don't do anything with it.
Not a lot. Well, don't get me wrong, mate. Dane Swan is a good footballer, and you'd love him in your side. Like he knows how to get the ball, uses it fairly well. It doesn't look like he's a class footballer, but he does really well. But I reckon when he gets to 35, I reckon 15 half kicks out of a pack sideways that just roll on the ground.
So let's get back to us because we've concentrated too much on Collingwood. Brendan Wisecross. That's quite unfortunate.
It is, mate. He's obviously had a very good year, and he kind of knew as soon as he went down, didn't he? He was almost laughing on the sideline. Just he knew it was all over. So very unfortunate for him. Probably makes the selectors' jobs a little bit easier with Youngie and Lewis to come back. But yeah, no, he's a very versatile player, and he was definitely going to be in that side. So disappointing for him, but it gives someone else a chance.
And the other one talking about going out is Murph. Poor Murph. He struggled, didn't he?
He did, mate. Normally that's the sort of player he plays pretty well. He just didn't seem to get in the right spots at the right time. There's one stage I think Cracker got a goal because Murph was covering Cloke in the pocket and Cracker was out by himself, so it didn't look great. And then he gave away that 50, which was just silly. He just needed to hold his line there and he followed through and give away the 50. So supporters are always looking for the scapegoat, mate, and he's going to be it, I'm afraid. So I'd imagine that he'll probably miss out come next game, though.
Yeah, so if Whitecross and Murphy go out, in come Young and Lewis. Now, I'm going to float the Mark Evans conspiracy theory here and say, was Lewis, who's got some carryover points, held back because they thought Collingwood would come out and play tough?
Oh, surely not. I'd be very disappointed if we had lost that game by a goal and Lewis was sitting on the sidelines because he might get suspended. I see where you're coming from, and he's a hard one to control, Geordie, but I don't think they would have done that.
And here's another one. Did they not play Clinton Young because he can be predictable and probably shut down, and so they wanted to throw Collingwood off the scent?
No. I don't think so. I think maybe he had an injury.
All right, just floating them there.
You put him out there, I'll keep knocking him down.
I'm told Gillum we won't see at all. Quad.
It looks like he's finished. So the depth's getting a little bit thinner up back, but we've still got Cheney on the sidelines. Obviously Murphy there, so there's probably the two backline depth there. And as we said, we've got Lewis in it and Young to come back in, so there's a midfield / forward depth, and that's probably the only blokes that are going to be in contention.
Is Goo a serious chance?
I think he'd like to think he is, but geez, he needs to come up. He could possibly play in the prelim and not, to be sure that it's going to be right the week after. I'd want him doing a full session the prelim week to prove that the hamstring's 100%. So that's going to be a struggle with only 3 weeks, so I don't think it'll happen.
All right, this is a sad situation.
Now, we'll go into the Box Hill game. The Cats' curse. It continued.
It did, mate. The boys looked like they had the game when I was following some scores on the phone there, and I thought we were doing pretty well. And I got a text from you to say something along the lines of, it looks like the Hawthorn curse continues at Box Hill, and I couldn't believe it. So disappointed for the guys. They probably wouldn't have got much further than this week anyway, but it's always handy to have blokes playing footy this time of year in the twos and keeping informed in case they're needed. So disappointing, but we'll live with it. We'll concentrate on the big blokes.
Cheney was clearly the guy that we were looking forward to see how well he was playing. He played an alright game.
Yeah, so he's a one rate, obviously, with Murphy. Murphy's form had been better, and that's why he came into the side. But yeah, they'll definitely have to look at Cheney if they decide they want a genuine backman in the mix rather than just bringing the two midfielders back in.
And that being said, Max Bailey played a good game too.
Yeah, look, Max is just unlucky, mate. We just can't afford to mess with what's working. So I'd imagine that no matter what happens this year, you find round one next year, Max would probably start as a ruckman and we'd probably change structures around again. But just too late in the year to mess with it once he got fit.
All right, Bards. So now it's time for Bards Blast.
Yes, Grant, I've got a little blast going on here. As we know, our prelim for next week's the lovely time of 5:15 on a Saturday afternoon / evening, basically because the AFL are heads and can't book a stadium properly.
Tell us what you think, Bards.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know, mate. Here's the deal for those that are uneducated on this matter. The AFL have a contract with Stadium Australia, ANZ Stadium, whatever you want to call it, which coincidentally is partly owned by Mike Fitzpatrick, AFL chairman. They have a contract with them to play all finals there whenever Sydney play a final. If you're going to have such contract, you'd think you'd have some sort of stipulation that says you get to choose what night you'd like to play your final. Obviously, their rugby league contract, who play a few more games there during the year, is a bit stronger than the AFL one. So, sorry boys, you're playing Saturday night. We'd like to take the game somewhere else. No, you can't. You've got to play it here. All right, we'll just screw the team that finished on top and push them back a day. So, at the end of the day, I don't care. We have to play on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. We'll play, we'll win, and we'll take them on the week after. But just surely, if you're going to set up a contract, how about you look after your interests first and not those of greedy chairman that just wants the cash.
All right, Bards. That was the AFL.
Well, you put a lot in and you worked real hard. There were days when you tried, there were days when you start trying to please the crowd when they're unforgiving. There are easier ways to make a living. Well, we've come a long way since the start of things, when we've seen the joy that hard work brings. You made us cry, you made us smile, you hit the front, now it's all worthwhile. 'Cause there's one day in September.
So, we're in the allotment for grand final tickets, and we're just hanging out waiting. So who are we going to play?
That's a big question, isn't it, mate? You would think on the exposed form it looks like it's going to be Sydney. Interesting games this week. See who we're playing the prelim first of all. Freo were pretty impressive last week, and I think I'm not afraid to say it. I'm bloody glad that Geelong are out because we don't even have to cross that bridge. I think we probably had them covered next time round, but we've been saying that for 2 years. Get them out of the way, that's good for us. Freo Adelaide in Melbourne, I don't care who we play out of those two, mate. I reckon we got them covered. This is ours to lose now, so if we bring our good footy, we can take care of both of them. The other side of the draw, yeah, all right, Collingwood are going to go up to Sydney, or West Coast are going to go up there, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was West Coast. Their form was pretty good on the weekend as well, so we'll see what happens, mate. More than likely we're going to be playing two interstate sides from here to win the flag, both on the MCG, which suits us, so if we don't mess it up, we should win it.
All right, we'll just hang out, wait and see who we're playing, start doing our predictions again after that. So all I'm going to say is, go Hawks.
Yeah, let's go Hawks, 2 to go.